Myths and legends have always surrounded the site of the Thorne and Hatfield moorland. However, not all are as well known as others. Some believe that great dragons roamed the land for thousands of years, that were created from the land and would warn of what was to come, guiding the people to respect and live in harmony with nature. It is believed there were some dragons that were jealous of the involvement with mankind and became responsible for trying to destroy the land's natural beauty. Some believe the dragons evolved. Others believe they disappeared when their work was done. It is now believed that the dragons are needed more than ever before to rally people of all ages into action, to help regenerate a precious resource to its former glory, to join the quest.
Hello, and welcome to The Quest. Now, I'm standing at a place today in our past and our future. This place out here, this was created over 14,000 years ago, just after the last ice age, at which point it was submerged under a huge lake known as Lake Humber. Prehistoric man hacked down this forest around 4,000 years ago. But actually, this is how the bog began. After growth of the moss over the centuries, the moors were over 20 feet higher than the surrounding areas. And because the moss, known as sphagnum, absorbs water, this means that in the wintertime it was even higher. The rich dark peat of Thorne and Hatfield Moor holds the history and stories in every square inch. Thousands of years witnessed within its layers like delicate manuscripts, and as valuable as the Doomsday Book for its record of climate change and man's activity. As we begin our quest for the dragon, we will discover myths and legends that are held in the mists of time. We will find our heroes that dared to stand out and slay the dragons that inherited our land. Around 4,000 years ago, man would have made trackways across the landscape using trees. He would have cut them down from the forest. Then, in 1972, a trackway dating right back to the Bronze Age was discovered underneath the peat. There are tales of a number of Roman garrisons who were assigned to cross the marshes. All were lost, feared drowned, and were never seen again. "2,000 years ago, the Saxons arrive here, and they name places. Then, 1,000 years later, the Vikings arrive, and this is evident from places such as Althorpe and Eastoft. Now, not quite sure what these names mean, but it is thought that Eastoft means homestead with an esky tree, and Althorpe means farmstead that belongs to Al, or maybe Ali. Later, the Normans would establish Hatfield Chase, a large hunting ground that included the Thorne moors. Deer, wild boar, they all roamed in this area at that time. And then, in around the 1450s, the first map of the area is created. While searching for the dragon, we discover a legend that has captured the imagination of all who have heard it. It has been well documented that in this area, around the late 15th century, there lived a giant. Now, this giant went by the name of William, and it is said that he had supernatural strength and could simply do things that other people couldn't. Legend has it that he was asked by a local horseman to build a causeway over the marshland. Now, William agreed to this, but on one condition only. That when the horseman left, he must not turn around to see how the causeway was being built. William said that the horseman must leave before he started work. William walks away. He picks up his tools to begin work, and as agreed, the horseman rides off. He remembers what the giant has said, but he has this tingling feeling running up his spine, and he cannot help but look back. Nothing could have prepared the horseman for what he saw, for William was not working alone. He was being helped by a swarm of red-coated demons and goblins who were helping him construct the causeway. The horseman shrieks out, "Oh my God!" And the demons, they hear his call and vanish. From this point on, William refuses to finish the causeway, and it was left partially constructed. William is said to have thrown a set of stones onto the moorland, which mark out a secret pathway across it. It's also said that these stones, they contain his finger and thumbprints. The legends that surround the area also include the highwayman Dick Turpin. It is alleged that Turpin visited the area but lost his beloved horse, Black Bess, to the ravages of the moor. There are those who say that if you wander onto the moors on a moonlit night, you can still hear her neighing, calling out for her master. In the Second World War, there were many fatal air tragedies reported over the moor. However, our next legend takes on a rather supernatural edge. A Wellington bomber crashes into the peat bog. No one survives. The aircraft sinks into the bog, and from that day, literally hundreds of sightings have been recorded of a ghostly airman wearing mudded flight gear. All the accounts, from seemingly unconnected people, all give the same description of their encounter. A young boy has even claimed to hear the faint crackle of an aircraft radio. In the 1970s, the aircraft rose up from the bog, and the crew and the airmen were discovered and laid to rest. And it has been documented that since that point, all sightings have ceased. However, our story takes a bizarre turn when in 1987 the body of a Polish airman is discovered, who some believe to be the real Phantom pilot.
It is at this point in our quest for the dragon that we discover our very own knight in shining armour, a hero who slayed the mighty industrial dragon. Now, in the 1950s, a local hero, William Bunting, was outraged at the industrial scale cutting of these moors. He understood the area's ecosystem and the flora and fauna that were balanced within it. Bunting patrolled the moors, armed with wire cutters and a sabre. In the 1970s, he formed a guerrilla force of students and naturalists called Bunting's Beavers, who dammed up the drains that threatened to lower the moor's water table to disastrously low levels. He managed to stop the work of the peat extractors and spurred on an army of volunteers to take up the gauntlet and protect the splendour of this natural phenomena right through to the present day. The next generation need to ensure that the ceasing of extraction from the moors is achieved and that their future potential is fully appreciated and realised. The actions of the many volunteers inspired by Bunting has meant that over 200 species of bird have been sighted here. Over 5,000 species of insect have been seen, and that includes the soldier beetle, the hairy canary, and the once thought extinct mire pill beetle, which had only previously been documented in fossil records. The moors are also home to a number of species of dragonfly. That includes your darters and your broad-bodied chasers. The Thorne Moors is the most northerly stronghold of the nightingale and nightjar. They migrate here from Africa in the spring and early summer months. There's also a large number of adders. Plant life on the moors is dominated by the peat-forming sphagnum mosses, bog rosemary and cotton grass. Roundleaf sundew also grows in the nutrient-poor soil. It supplements its diet with insects that it traps on leaf pads before slowly devouring them. In the drier areas, a number of species of heather exist. So, it is at this point in our quest that we must ponder the question: is the dragon a mythical beast that roamed these lands for centuries, or is it something else? A spirit that we all have to fight for what is right and to protect a beautiful and natural phenomenon. In our quest, we may have discovered our heroes, our myths and legends, but remember the dragon's message of living with and respecting nature. The moors, they are as important as the Amazon rainforest. So now it is up to you to take up the quest of protecting the moors and of keeping these stories alive for future generations.